Mm.
Peace, happy and healthy family and friends.
Yeah, happy new day. Happy Monday.
Yes.
Monday morning.
Coming alive with episode 5.
Yes.
Hello.
I hope you all had a phenomenal weekend. We had a great weekend. First thing, I do want to deeply apologize to everyone that had requested the detox guide. Upon writing the guide, I realized that everything that we do in excellence. We always want to make sure we put our best foot forward. With that being said, the deeper that I got into the guide, the more I realized that needed to be written. And I did not want to give a half-ass effort or rush through it and not put out something that was going to be of quality to everyone that was in need of the information. With that being said, what you can do is please, everyone that if you have an immediate need and you're looking to do something, within the next week or so, by all means, hit me in the DM, shoot me a question, and then we can do a free consultation, and I'll break down everything you need to go on ahead and make it happen. Or just hit me, if you don't want to talk, we can text back and forth. It's all good either way. And whatever it is you're dealing with, then I'll let you know what needs to be done from that point forward. That way, you're not missing out on anything. But definitely, the deeper that I got into it, especially talking about 22 different detox versions, each one could be its own book to really give it the fullness of an explanation, especially for somebody that hadn't detoxed before, because a lot of times people think of detoxing as like it's something simple and easy, and it is on its base levels, but there's a science to it, and each detox has its own nuances that you would want to be made aware of. And the deeper I got into doing the ebook, the more I realized, like, oh no, I can't just, because I'd end up cutting out half the information in order to make it what it needs to be. So be on the lookout. The ebook will be coming out, but I want to make sure that it's done in a way that does justice for the individuals that are interested in embarking upon improving their lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was my. Anyway, let's get going. So what we covering today, baby?
Today we are speaking on vulnerability.
Ooh.
And transparency. Yes.
Vulnerability and transparency. Ooh.
That's full. That's
yeah,
full
but
enough.
I mean, in what? In what? What is it in?
In relationships.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Vulnerability and transparency in relationships.
Yes.
And
of course, relationships, and it can be man, woman, with your friends, children, whoever, just being open. Yes. And I would like to thank everyone for being so easy to talk to.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You all have been a joy to connect with you all each and every morning during the week. I also want to thank you all, everyone that supported us in this new journey as we move forward. And then also, we want to make the announcement that we're reorganizing the company to move it away from being a company into more of a ministry, because that's what this is for us. This is a wellness ministry. It's something that's needed in our community, across all communities. You look at the state of health and wellness and on all different levels. And so our message, what we do is we speak to everyone that's in need of wanting to improve their lives. And so that's something that's near and dear to our hearts. That's something that we've always done on one level or another. And as we move forward, we want to really take that to the next level. We want to really be in position to be a change agent for not only our families, but to also help others create multi-generational health and wellness within their families. And so moving forward, we will officially be Quantum Wellness Ministries. And so coming live and direct into your room or to your phone each and every Monday through Friday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And we are live and direct. And yeah, we just want to be able to share our message, and hopefully you all get something from it.
Yes.
And they're able to take that and take a nugget from something that's being spoken on that day. And, and it will help improve your lives as it has for us. Because all we're doing is sharing what we do, what our lives have been like, what's taken us from being in some really, really, really dark situations that most people would tell you, the doctors have told us, we weren't going to be able to recover from. And we're here live and happy and loving each other. And, and I couldn't, had I listened to, some other individuals that told me that I would never be able to walk without a limp again or without being in pain, or I was going to have suffer from migraine headaches for my whole life, because that's just the way that I healed after the concussions from the car accident, or when I had that bulging disc and they told me that I had to get back surgery in order to, from the car accident. Otherwise, I'd never be able to have full range of motion in my neck again. I don't have any of those issues because there's always another way. The body heals itself if you feed it what it needs, the nutrients that it needs to be able to heal. Yeah, even with my son, he knocked his permanent teeth out when he was 6 years old. You all know what normally happens in that situation. He'd have been toothless for the rest of his life. And we grew back his permanent teeth with the use of horsetail, the herb horsetail. Grew back bones. I remember Dr. Goss, he was the one that first broke it down to me that it is possible for people to regrow limbs, bone, and whatnot with the proper nutrients. And so a lot of people, most people don't even know that's possible, but it is. Mm-hmm. It is. But the body has to be put in position to be able to flow and function at its highest level in order to make that happen. So with that being said, let's get into the topic of the day: the art of transparency and vulnerability in relationships.
Yes. Ooh.
So how has transparency and vulnerability helped you, or been a part of our relationship, or any relationship, or how have you seen that work and not work?
It works because being transparent, being vulnerable, you are opening up yourself to a trusted individual and or individuals. Even this exchange with us, this is an exchange of trust. We trust that the information and stories encourage or help you, and as then you share with us, and it's very communal. It's helped me exercise communication.
Okay.
And communication is very important.
Yes, communication is key above and beyond everything else. Open communication. Unguarded communication.
Unguarded. I'll just dive right into it. We met.
Dive in.
Yes. Yes. We met March 5th, right?
March 5th.
And March 5th, March, April, May, June, and then on June 5th, 3 months later exactly, I woke up and I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't move my legs. And that was a very trying day. I knew him for 3 months, but I trusted the information that he had, the experience that he had in figuring out the body, not necessarily having medical input. So I called because I'm like, okay, he does energy work, and this could be an energy work situation, not knowing what was going on. And I sent a text because I'm like, okay, I don't want to alarm anyone. So I sent a text like, hey, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. Although I woke up at 2, I couldn't move anything. I didn't get scared. I said, okay, well, let me just go back to sleep and see if I could just sleep it off. Woke up again, and it still wasn't the same. So I sent a text like, could you send me some Reiki vibes or something, some distance Reiki? Then you send a text like, what was going on? I was like, I can't move my legs. You called me, and you're immediately on your way. That was a very vulnerable space or time in my life. And having that immediate, basically drop everything, and I'm coming to see about you. That was amazing. June 5th. We figured me out and what was going on, because even before then I had I was going through a detox, and that's why I always stress water, because even before then I had a boil that had developed on my leg while I was doing a detox, and like I wasn't drinking enough water. And then I found out about something called a healing crisis.
Yes.
And you told me about that. Could you tell the people what a healing crisis is?
During a detox, the reason why it is so important to drink, stay hydrated, especially if you have any kind of chronic condition, is that as the toxins are released from the detox, they'll release into the body, into the bloodstream. And if for whatever reason you're not hydrating enough, that's how your body starts to flush out the toxins and whatnot. Especially if the detox allows you to eat, you want to eat fruits, raw fruits in particular. That'll help flush you as well. But if you're not drinking enough water, those toxins just float around in the body, and you'll have a spontaneous, like say for instance, if the toxins cause a flu, you'll have spontaneous flu symptoms. If those toxins cause pain, you'll have spontaneous pain in different parts of your body until you flush them out, until your body flushes them out. If you have something that would cause migraines, it's floating around, because basically the detox will break those toxins down because they're usually stored in the mucus, heart and mucus inside the body. And as the mucus is removed from the body, they're floating. And so if they're not being flushed out, then you experience them. And so if it's something that's major, like say for instance, people that have tumors and things of that nature, and they're doing detoxes, if your body isn't processing and flushing them out fast enough, then they'll come out through the skin. That being said, that was what led to the boil, because because of the challenges that she was dealing with, she wasn't having enough circulation in her lower extremities, and the toxins had like, hey, I got to get up out of here because I no longer have my mucus housing because this detox is breaking it down. And it said, okay, well, shoot, I can't get processed through your liver. I'm coming out of your skin. And so that's something to be aware of, especially if you're doing one of the more stronger detoxes. The herbs of the forest detox that we offer is probably one of the more powerful ones. And so that's something you really have to be on point about, is drinking that water, anywhere from a half a gallon to a gallon, depending on whatever your particular needs are.
Yes. And all of that I wasn't doing on the detox that I was on at that time. So that's where we came into this. And I really, everything that's necessary, everything that would be considered negative, I always find a positive out of it. And I found at that time that not even in that moment, but because in those 3 months we had developed something, and I realized you were easy to talk to, easy to be with, and easy to love. So it's very important. I got some game too. We developed a space where there was trust. That was the foundation. That's why first call, first text is like, okay, look, you, I know and I'm confident that you can help me. So can you be vulnerable with everybody? Probably not. You probably want to trust the people or individuals very much. Yeah, and it is a learned behavior to be vulnerable, and no one can really teach you how to be vulnerable. I would say it's a feeling. It's
well, actually, not to be vulnerable.
Okay.
Is a learned behavior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because little kids tell you all kind of stuff. They come and start telling you, be like, "What on earth are you talking?" They
True.
Yeah, and then somebody tells them, "Don't you say that."
Good point.
And then they keep hearing, "Don't you say that?" Or you talk too much, or you this, that, and then it shuts them down. The kids come out normally, unless something they had been told. It's I would say it's a not being vulnerable, not being transparent, being shamed and hiding. I would say that was more of a learned behavior not to be transparent. Yeah, because people have these walls up. Yeah, and we are, especially nowadays with COVID, everybody's living in a bubble. Heck, they're living in a bubble from each other. 6 feet.
Distance is real.
You see people walking past, talking from distances and crap. I'd be like, what on earth are y'all doing? But anyway.
Yeah, so through the physical issue that I had gone through, even though it wasn't the most pleasant time of my life, actually. I mean, without being able to walk, who was, making sure that I was in the bath?
Yeah.
And who had me on their shoulder, taking me up and down stairs? Real, to make sure I got to the car. And this is true. Who could I trust to go to the bank and withdraw the money for the rent and things like that? I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it was my pleasure. I wasn't going to leave you hanging. Yeah, I mean, God didn't give me the abilities and the knowledge that was brought to me over the years to, not being able to, help my family or my loved ones. And so, that was, I was blessed with that information, of knowing. And so, we just took it from there.
Right.
Yeah. But, you're my best friend. I wasn't going to leave you stuck. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And it was not a traditional way to become closer, but I'm sitting up there and you're, still going on to work and coming back. But we had so many fulfilling conversations in that time. I feel like in that time, we got to know each other best.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like it was an induced intimacy that just really brought us closer.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I want to circle back to, like, for me, being transparent and vulnerable was probably one of the most difficult things that for me to do within a relationship because of the way I was brought up, in particular with women, because, I couldn't say anything to my mom. She was, it's funny because in public, anybody that knows my mom, they'd be like, yo, mama, she's nice and sweet and she's all little and petite and not. Oh, no, behind closed doors, it was on. And, I even had anything to say about anything. I was getting hit in the mouth and, and I was on the light end, then it was just straight beatings. And so, people that know me as I came up, I was quiet as a church mouse. You couldn't get me to talk, really speak much on anything unless I had to. My close friends and whatnot. Hell, I was even quiet with them now that I think about it. I mean, you see, I don't have any problem talking nowadays. So I absolutely overcome that. But my first relationship, everybody, your first relationship is with your opposite parent. And so a man's interactions with women when he's, of age, is a mirror or is a reflection of what his interactions were with, in particular, with the closest, mother figure in his life, and vice versa, and it's the opposite for women. The first interactions with a man come from the father, or lack thereof. And so when you see how people flow, or like I should say, don't flow, it typically comes from the relationships that they have with the parents, and that's what that learned behavior comes from. And so a lot of times you see people carry these, because this goes unsaid in relationships. I mentioned before, people live in a lie, or, a lot of times, folks, they think they know who their partner is. They think they know who their husband is. They think they know who their wife is. And they really don't, because they're not having those open dialogues. And it was because of I would say the closest that you and I share comes a lot from us having those intimate moments of deep conversations about non-judgmental conversation, because that's the big part. People passing judgment on it, because that's what people are usually afraid of, is somebody passing judgment on them. And so being able to have those conversations open freely and having a respect, knowing that the other person that's receiving the information, that they're going to receive it in a fashion that they're not going to persecute you, good, bad, or the other. And that, like, hey, okay, there's a respect of the other person's opinion. And one thing that, within the whole transparency and vulnerability in relationships is it brings you closer, because it brings you closer in a way of having that intimate conversation, that deepest, darkest, because you should be able to find healing within your relationship. Because a lot of times a lot of folks go get consultations and whatnot because of their relationship. And technically your relationship, you should be able to, part of that relating is being able to share that energy, find healing within each other. And so the beautiful thing with us is we've learned to heal each other on so many different levels, energetically, with emotionally, just having that listening ear. Because sometimes, you just need to be able to speak whatever it is to somebody. And they just sit there and they listen. Okay. And then when the time is right, if it's necessary, then they can go on and give their input. Otherwise, they just need to listen. And because we already have our answers anyway. We already know what the answer is. Now, whether we choose to accept that as the reality of what it should be, that's a different story. But we always already have the answer. So half the time we just need to get it out. And our mates need to be that first person that we talk to, not the last. Yeah. And so, I've been guilty of that. Because prior to, that's something that I've learned in recent times, is to be open and vulnerable about who I am. And, I don't have no problem saying, who I am. You do. You ask me a question, I'm going to tell you. You know why? Because I found out that the issues that I've gone, I used to feel like I was on an island. I used to think I'm the only one that got molested. I'm the only one that got beat, like a piñata growing up. I'm the only one that had, the things that happened to me, growing up. And it's more common than it's not. The thing is, people walk around with these walls up, like they on islands. And when I'm not saying go around being mushy and gushy with everybody, because you got some individuals that will take advantage of that. But have some level of discernment. Have some level of discernment on who you deal with and who you talk to. But your mate, that's the number one person you should be open with. That's the number one person you shouldn't be having no secrets with. Because when it comes down to it, when heaven forbid shit hits the fan, who's gonna have your back? Who's the first person you should be able to go to? Your mate. And if you can't find peace and solitude within your mate, they're probably not the person you need to be with. Straight up.
That's a hard pill to swallow, and being vulnerable, being transparent, it takes the weight off, because you're not holding yourself back. You are free. Mm-hmm. You're free to speak, you're free to feel, you're free to be with whoever you're speaking with or speaking to.
No, absolutely. Yes. And I love being free. My sovereignty is everything to me.
Absolutely.
And once I experienced freedom, I could never go back into captivity of the emotional cage of being alone and not having you to be able to confide in, my deepest, darkest moments of when I just feel like it's 13 months now? Should it be 14 in about 2 weeks? Yeah. Yeah, I really can say I really appreciate those times, because I look at the way that we've grown. I've grown exponentially with you, and I couldn't, I wouldn't, I wouldn't give that away for nothing. Yeah,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been exercises that we've done. You spoke on the yoga practices and things, and just to keep us close. Even we've done fasting together.
Yes.
Intermittent fasting. That was, once I found that we ate the same, we fast and everything, it's just easy to meld and be with, because it's just kind of like being with me.
Yes. Yes. It's like, yes, I love myself.
Oh,
and I love you.
I love you too.
What was that song they used to sing over at Caras? But I love you so much. I love me so much that I can love you so much.
Oh, well, yeah.
That you can love you so much that you can start loving me. Yeah, I miss that, man.
Oh, I have to learn that song.
Caras? Oh, yeah. No, I miss my days over at Caras. Yeah, Reverend Mary Caras. Anyway, I digress.
So, and if this makes sense, and whoever this resonates with, please type in the hand clap emoji.
Yeah, clap it up. Okay.
Oh, you know what? Thank you. Yes. This is intimacy. This is vulnerability. Even in speaking with you, and I mentioned before, thank you guys so much for being a part of our sharing, and also, sharing with us. And we are always available through DM. And then, we would really look forward to speaking to you guys, actually hearing your voices. We talk enough.
Yes.
And to speak with you would be an absolute pleasure. So we definitely look forward to that.
Yes, absolutely. And then also, for those that are looking to explore a deeper dive into what we've experienced, what we talk about, what we do offer retreats coming up. They're coming up next year. I know it's a little bit early, but you want to plan. These are things that you want to plan for. But we have multiple retreats as we come up on those timelines. We definitely will be posting information regarding those. But couples intimacy retreats that can really help you supercharge your relationship and build strong bonds. I want to say that when you talk about transparency and vulnerability, that is the first level of intimacy within a relationship. Because people ask us, well, how, why y'all so, y'all so loving, y'all got good energy and all that. And that's because we're open. The openness that we share in our communication allows us to be open on all other levels. Because you start closing, because the thing is, everything is universal. All energy is universal. And so if you're shutting down one part of that, it's going to have an effect on all other parts. And so if your communication is selective, then your energy that you're putting out there is selective. Because one of the most powerful energy tools we have is our voice. And so, and the most hurtful thing in a relationship is not being heard. And I'll say that again.
Wow.
The most hurtful thing that people experience within a relationship is not being heard. If you want to when you're looking for the signal to the end of a relationship or a strong bond within a relationship, let one of the people feel like they're not being heard, and then it's going to divide like the Red Sea, the way that they part. And so, as important as vulnerability is in the relationship, it's even more important that who you're being vulnerable with is hearing you. Does that mean that, you need to be giving the solution to whatever their challenge is, or you need to be, speaking on whatever it is? No. But absolutely, you need to be available to hear what's being said and process it. And so that's just as important, vulnerability, but receptivity within a relationship is just as important as vulnerability. Yeah.
Church.
Yeah.
This is facts.
Amen. I say, yeah.
Yes. And do you have any final closing words? I get a chance to ask the question finally. Right? You go first, King.
Actually, that was one of my final statements. Yeah. I honestly would have to say that our transparency, our vulnerability, or the ability to feel comfortable in our vulnerability with one another has absolutely by far transcended everything else that we've done in our relationship as far as building a strong bond. If nothing else, what you see, what people speak on us about, our energy, all comes from our ability to be vulnerable with one another, open with one another, free flowing. The energy, there's no blockages. And our transparency with one another, from a trust standpoint, I can't even put into even quantify it, because when you're holding secrets, the person that holds the secret, starts to think that the other person is keeping secrets from them. And so if you're not, because the thing is, you're mirror images. And so for you to do something like that, if you don't feel comfortable speaking on something, guess what? You feel that they don't feel comfortable speaking on something. And then it turns into, it creates a division between within the relationship. And so if there's nothing else that we have, all hell can break loose. She knows exactly who I am, and I know exactly who she is. She knows what I'm about. She knows all my good and a whole lot and all my bad. And she loves me regardless. And I love her bad. It doesn't matter. We've seen each other at each other's worst. And we still love each other 10 times more than we ever did before. And that comes from being able to be naked. What do you call it? Naked and unafraid. As a matter of fact, we have a workshop that corresponds. That's called Naked and Unafraid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you have to be able to be free to be naked with each other. You got a lot of couples, hell, like literally, and I'm talking figurative naked, like naked, just totally, just unarmored, unclothed, emotionally unclothed and whatnot. But hell, you got people like that walk around, they don't like being naked in front of their mate, like literally not naked. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we get to be talking about, emotionally naked. Hell no, everybody's got a wall up, especially when you first meet. And so we walked into this, the first thing I let her know, I was like, hey, this is who I am. This is what my get down is. This is how I think. And, and then we just took it from there. Because I'm like, you gonna know. If we gonna be together, you gonna know who you dealing with. There ain't no boogeyman jumping like, ha! There ain't none of that. This is who I am. Mm-hmm. Now, if we gonna be good, we gonna be good. If we not, well, heck, we was already friends, so we'll just take it from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And because of that, then, because a lot of times people don't give the other person the opportunity because they hiding who they are. They hide behind the mask. Like I already said, when you first meet somebody, that was one of the primary reasons why I don't look to enter a sexual relationship with somebody that I first meet. Is because I want to know who they are. Because 9 times out of 10, the first 3 to 6 months, whoever it is you deal with, when you meet somebody, they're not the person that you end up being with. And you have to be able to be objective in your viewing of them. And a lot of times you look up and sex will skew that. Your ability to really discern, or you start making allowances, for that person and their get down and whatnot. And things that you probably would normally be like, oh, hell no, I ain't dealing with that. And so as, coming, being open, being upfront, that has, because people say, well, y'all look like y'all been together for years. I'm like, no, we had years of openness in conversations. We had years of discussions. We know stuff about one another, every single thing. I mean, well, is it every single thing? Well, everything that comes to mind. So if it makes sense in the moment, then we speak on it. So we're not just like, blah, just start just talking about any and everything. But as things, come to that make sense to, hey, you know what? Or we spark the reminder of something. So we become each other's therapists. And so we have what we call a couples relationship therapy that we do with one another. And so we're able to bounce things off of each other and flow in that fashion. That's what really takes us to the next level. Yeah, that open and honesty. So can't nobody come tell her, oh, well, Jeffrey did. She's looking like you. Like, no, he didn't. I know him. And can't nobody tell me nothing about her. And if I did screw up on something, I'm going to tell her right out, hey, look, man, this is what went down, blah, blah, blah. She don't need to hear it from nobody else because she going to hear it from me. Yeah, because we all make mistakes. We're not perfect. That's, we're in our human experience. There's going to be some challenges. There's going to be some things that, sometimes we're not always going to be in alignment. But at the end of the day, we make amends and we do better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if it's a deal breaker, well, shit. It was good before we got there.
Because it's all about honesty and respect. And most importantly, I hear, feel, and see you.
Mm-hmm.
And trust that you feel, hear, and see me.
I see. Mm-hmm.
Oh, get a good look. There we go. And it transfers to us hearing, feeling, and seeing you. Thanks for the love. We see. Thanks you. Oh, okay. Pack it on. Yes. We hear, feel, and see you, as it seems as though you hear, feel, and see us. Right? Mm-hmm. So with that, I feel like we can let these lovely, beautiful people on with the best of their days, as we will continue with ours.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Church.
Hey.
Have a phenomenal week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Have a phenomenal week. Be the best version of yourself. Make every day better than it was the day before. We love you all.
Yes.
Peace and blessings.